Then I chose to be cheeky and add the door sign, which expresses my feelings on the current state of the franchise.
So let me do the talking here. Excuse me, get lost. Yeah. Tutti and fruity.
Rebuild Studio 39.
Now, Rebuilds is an odd type of fellow, and he has done questionable things in the past, and this video will be no different. To start, let's cheat by using this lantern box from the dollar store as the base. What the? Triple exit! I picked this one because it has a lighthouse design, and that reminded me of the Horror of Fang Rock episode, where Leela did this. I disassembled the front of the box in the worst way possible, similar to what Dr. Karen did to the entire series. I also removed the light, revealing a perfect hole, which resembles an outhouse, which is a perfect metaphor for where the Doctor Who series is right now. In this front piece won't be wasted. I'm using it to strengthen the bottom, which was once the top, but now the floor, if that makes any sense. Next, I pretended to be Disney and thanked a concentration camp in China for cutting all these sticks for me. But they didn't do a very good job, and I had to do all the sanding myself. I also sanded the box as well. Oh, that's just sawdust, and not a message to Hunter Biden. I glued the slave labor sticks on at each corner. After that, I added some useless filler, just like the overrated One Piece anime does. Then I finished the bottom. So I moved on to making the roof. I spiced up the corners with routed wood that I made out of a destroyed mini clothespin. I added 2 layers of foam wrapped with wood to beef out the roof, and I continued the toilet hole because I'm still wrestling with the decision whether or not to keep it as a upside down porta potty. To top off the roof, I cut out a square wood piece, then I sanded the edges to make it look a little less square. The Tardis has this cute light on top, and I wanted to make it, but that means I have to cut a perfectly centered hole in the roof. And I only get one shot at it, and I'm too scared to do it. So I let the Mikus do the math. And they did a very good job. I wanted to use this bulb because it fits in the hole, but that means I had to pretend to be an electrician, which I'm not, but I'll give it a shot anyway. I wrapped the red wire to the bulb, then the red to the black, then I put the white wire over the black one. Finally, I connected all the wires to the potato, and it didn't work. So I scrapped the whole light idea and just went with the one that came with the lantern in the first place. Next are the doors, and they're complicated, so I made a template out of a cereal box to make it easier. No tutorial on how to make it because I completely made up all the measurements, as I always do. Once the frame was glued up, I used the last of my China balsa wood to finish it. Okay, I feel bad that I used slave China wood, so I'm making the windows from scratch. I started by cutting a strip of plexiglass sheet that's definitely not from China. Then I chopped it up and made a square box. To glue it together, I'm using this UV resin. Once again, that's definitely not from China. If there's a trick to using this resin as a glue, it's applying a tiny bit less than a drop on each joint. Then I cured it. Once the frame was done, I filled out the middle, making sure to follow the reference picture. Lastly, I made the windows glass out of the UV resin. This window is extremely accurate, and it was easy to make until I realized I needed 8 of them. And this easy build turned into a 4.5 hour long session, and I'm not even being sarcastic. It really took that long to make all the windows. Okay, my conscience won't let me move on until I tell you the truth. Everything I used in this video was made in China, and I'm quite sad about lying to you. Wait, what the? I was made in China. With that done, I glued one of the doors in and moved on to the other 3 sides of the box. And I totally timeless childrened it, or I mean retconned it by using a cereal box instead of wood. I did this for all 3 sides, and once painted, no one will ever know of my sneaky bait and switch. There was a Marvels joke, but I got rid of it because I can't stand Marvels. Or DC for that matter. Or maybe just superheroes in general. Before moving on, I added the signboard, and since I'm still not sure if it's the TARDIS or the porta potty, I preserved the toilet hole. It's time now that I have to face and use the most dangerous and scary tool that I own. This tool is so hard to use that I take mental damage every time I use it. Time for painting, and it's really important to get the right color for the TARDIS because if I screw it up, Shooty-Gawa will appear in my house at 2 a.m. and twerk on me. I don't know really anything about color, so I chose my nicest blue and went with that. And after 3 coats, it looked really good, and I think I chose the right blue, and I survived painting and Shooty-Gawa this time. After painting, I glued the windows in. Next, I added the door, and it does open, but Rebuilds forgot to show that on camera because he's a dunce. I glued the light to the roof and then glued it to the TARDIS, which means it's the TARDIS and not an outhouse. Lastly, I added the light on top, which was made from a pen and black paper. I added the iconic sign, then I chose to be cheeky and add the door sign, which expresses my feelings on the current state of the franchise. Well, we're done. I successfully made the TARDIS without screwing it up too much. I'm sure you could tell that I don't like what has happened to the Doctor Who series, and this video reflected that. And since I've criticized the series throughout the whole video, let me tell you my favorite things about the series that I've watched my entire life. Best Doctor? Tom Baker, come on. Best Companion? Well, this will be probably kind of controversial, but I'm gonna choose Rose.
You are tiny.
Best Episode? Genesis of the Daleks. Come on. Davros and Schneider? Or was it Niter? I think it was Niter. I don't remember. Worst episode? Everything Right Now. Worst Doctor? It's probably a tie. These takes are non-refundable and my logic is undeniable. But please tell me in the comments how bad my spicy takes are. Or even better, tell me how good and smart they are. Don't forget to hit that like button if you liked the video, and consider subscribing. Okay guys, be kind, rewind, and I'll see you in the next one. Later. I'm totally gonna go Google if it's Schneider or Niter now. It's bothering me.